And today we're making risotto ai funghi. And while we eat risotto all throughout Italy, it really is in Lombardy where they've mastered this dish to make it nice and creamy and absolutely amazing. And while traditionally it's always a little bit challenging to make perfect risotto, I'm going to show you today a technique that will guarantee amazing results time after time after time, and it's super easy. It's actually pretty quick. So let's get cooking. For the ingredients, we're going to be using two types of mushrooms, fresh mushroom and dried porcini mushroom to give an extra layer of flavor. We're going to have some Carnaroli rice, glass of wine, Parmigiano, some pancetta, shallots, garlic, parsley, unsalted butter, and extra virgin olive oil. To make the perfect risotto, you need to have an exact ratio between water and rice. So bear with me here. We're gonna make two portions, 80 grams of rice per portion. That means 160 grams of rice. And we're gonna be using double the amount of water to the rice. So 320 of water. This is some hot water, which we're gonna be using to soak the dried mushrooms. So we're going to add our dry porcini mushrooms, and this is a staple you should always have in your house because they're full of flavor, they store very well, and when you need them, you just put them in hot water. You give it a quick stir and you let them soak for 15-20 minutes. And once our mushrooms have been washed, we just slice them up and we put them to cook. We just take a garlic, give it a squash. You can keep or take away the skin. Let's just take it away this time. Swirl of extra virgin olive oil. This is going to be nice and infused. And we have the mushrooms. We give it a mix, and it looks like there are a lot of mushrooms, but mushrooms when you cook, they really shrink a lot, so this is totally fine for two portions. A little bit more extra virgin olive oil. With the mushrooms, don't add the salt at the beginning because that's going to extract all the moisture and it's going to create a lot of water at the bottom, so you're actually going to end up boiling them rather than pan frying them, and you want them pan fried. We always use a pot to cook the rice, but first we're going to take some pancetta and we're going to cook it slowly, and this is going to release the fat which we're going to use to toast the rice. And when our pancetta is nice and crispy, with a spoon, trying to keep all the grease inside the pot, we take it out. And to this, we're gonna add a little knob of butter, just a splash of olive oil, and our shallots go in. And when the mushrooms are done, just a little bit of salt. We give it a mix, and this stay on the side for later. And after the shallots have cooked for 3 or 4 minutes, we're gonna add the rice. But let's talk about the rice for one moment. Here we're gonna be using Carnaroli rice. This is a medium grain, and the Carnaroli is considered the best type of rice to make risotto. So it's got a high starch content, you're gonna have that creamy velvety taste that is synonymous with risotto. And it's also really good at holding the cook. Traditionally, risotto is done by adding water little at a time so the grain absorbs it. And the Carnaroli is great at having that retention. And also is great at attracting the sauce that we're gonna add. So it's gonna become exceptionally flavorful. This is the water we're gonna be using for the risotto. So we're gonna take out our mushrooms that after 30 minutes are nice and hydrated. I find the easiest thing just using scissors to chop them up into a bite size, and then we just add them to the other mushrooms. We put our rice in. The rice does not need to be washed. What you want to do though is that you need to toast it. So we're going to use the fat inside the pot to toast the rice. This will take a couple of minutes. Make sure we stir continuously. We want all the sides and every single grain to get toasted. A little bit of white wine. We wait until all the alcohol is evaporated. We're going to lower the heat now to medium, and this is where the magic happens. We're just going to sieve this because there's always some sediments when we do the dried mushrooms. One final mix, lid on, 14 minutes precisely. Don't touch it, don't stir it, don't do anything. 14 minutes and it'll be perfectly cooked. And then we're going to finish it off. And a clear lid is very useful because you can monitor how the simmering is working out. And this is the level of simmering you're trying to go for. 14 minutes have gone. This is cooked. Now we add butter, our Parmigiano, take away the garlic, we don't need this, and we put in our mushrooms, our pancetta. Let's give this a quick mix. Now the butter is going to melt, it's going to emulsify together with the Parmigiano. The smell coming from this is fantastic. Close the lid, and this needs to rest for a minute or two. And after a minute, some fresh parsley. And look how creamy and delicious this is. And traditionally, risotto is plated on a flat plate. And we can top it off with some crunchy pancetta. Swirl of extra virgin olive oil. And this is ready to be eaten. And this is one of my favorite things. absolutely delicious and super easy to do. So get yourself in the kitchen and get cooking. Buon appetito.